Really interesting, but it was like 4.5 hours long.
Wow. Yeah, that's long.
Anyways, you want to do this?
Yeah, let's do it.
Is it going to feel weird being on the other side of the table?
A little, yeah.
I'll try not to pester you with difficult questions. Welcome back to 2W Conversations, the podcast where eavesdropping on us isn't only okay, but encouraged. Today, we are literally turning the table, and we're going to talk about social media with Danielle. I'm Mark. Thanks for joining us. Let's get started.
All right. Hello. This is so weird being on the other side.
Like you're literally sitting on the other side.
Yeah.
Too.
A whole new perspective.
You don't have to. You could have sat in this chair.
I could have, but I feel like that says host. You should be there
This
right
is
now.
the host.
Yeah.
It's actually a sofa. So this is the host sofa. Mm-hmm. All right. So we're going to talk about social media. It's a major part of our marketing push here at 2W Tech. It's kind of new for us.
Mm-hmm.
You've been inventing it and making it up as you go, our social media strategy. So let's start with, what is social media? Define it for me.
Yeah, so I'd say social media is a centralized platform for people to communicate and share thoughts and ideas. And what really sets it apart from other marketing platforms is the ability to reach a worldwide audience organically and the fact that it involves real-time engagement.
So social media, it can be stupid kids doing stupid stuff on TikTok, but that's not what we do.
No.
Right? So let's focus in on business social media.
Yeah, so from a business perspective, it's more of a balance between creativity and providing that value for your audience, right? What we do is every piece of content we put out there, we try to make it helpful in some way. So it has to showcase our expertise, and it has to be important enough for the viewer to stop mid-scroll. But the creativity piece of it all comes in because we still have to entertain them in a way, right? No matter the platform, people go on these socials to get entertained, and we have to hook them in because when someone's scrolling on social media, whatever the platform may be, it is content overload, and your content has to be good enough for someone to stop and read the post or watch the video.
So what are we using? What's our social media platform of choice?
We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Right now, I would say our top performing platform is LinkedIn. However, it's skewed a little bit because that's the platform we've been most consistent with. So, of course, it's going to have better success.
But LinkedIn's like the business social media.
Yes. So, essentially, because LinkedIn is a professional tool, people are in the business mindset while they're on the platform. And being a technology provider for businesses, we are definitely one step ahead on that platform compared to others. With that being said, on an awareness scale, I would say the platforms are more even across the board. However, once you get later down in the funnel, for example, like engagement and looking for those conversions, that's when you're going to see more of that benefit shine through LinkedIn.
So let's talk about YouTube, because YouTube fascinates me.
Yes.
So we do lots of, like, everything we do eventually ends up on YouTube, right?
Podcast included.
Including the podcast, right? Including this. You may be listening to this on your podcast streamer of choice, or you may be listening to it on YouTube. Do you know what's going to take? I mean, you put stuff up there and you'll have 2 views, and then the one right next to it will have like 2,000 views.
Yeah. We're talking about YouTube Shorts right now in terms of the unpredictable views. I almost think YouTube Shorts is a whole separate platform than the typical long-form YouTube content. That's how I think about it, because the best practices between the two are completely different. But we don't have enough data to go off of right now to figure out what works for our short strategy. So yes, sometimes content really does well and sometimes it doesn't, and it is hard, and we're still in that learning phase.
But you just don't know. So it's just You're putting stuff up there and...
Yeah, and there are some trends that I've been able to pick up right away. One being like the human content is a lot better than the content that's created through a software like Canva, for example.
Oh, okay. So like the little cartoony videos or whatever.
Yeah, because people will just relate when they see a human face, right? anytime our brand gets in front of someone, it's good to me. I mean, unless it's a negative experience, of course. But as long as we get in front of them and they have a positive reaction, I consider that a win. Obviously, that couldn't be our whole strategy because we need connections on a deeper level as well. But those smaller goals are also important.
Well, some of the short things they're kind of fun, and they're short. I mean, so you're not devoting. I think our most popular YouTube video is a webinar Sam did on Epicor scheduling
Years ago.
3 or 4 years ago, and it literally has thousands and thousands and thousands of views, and it's an hour and a half.
Yeah, and I just checked on that the other day, and it's still rapidly getting views now. Like, it slowed down, yes, but not as much as you'd think from being 3 years old.
That's interesting. So is social media, is it generational? Like, are we just talking to people your age versus people my age?
I'd say we're talking to everyone, but it does, again, depend on the platform, right? So LinkedIn is more balanced because all professionals usually are active on this app, and professionals obviously range in age. However, I don't know, some of our platforms like Instagram, and we're not on TikTok, but for example's sake, those are generally younger audiences. But when we're thinking about who understands using social media from a business perspective or as a business tool, definitely more my generation. I would say you're kind of an oddball. I feel like you have a strong understanding of what social media can bring to a business, but that's pretty rare for your generation.
And by you mean oddball in the most
boomer generation.
Okay, guilty as charged. All right.
But why do you think that is?
Why do I think what is?
Why do you think that you understand the business side of social media more than others?
That's a good question. I think, you know what it is? It's my curiosity on technology just in general. And it's kind of the same reason that we take 2W the way that we take 2W. Yeah. It's because as Tom says, he goes, the cool thing is the CEO loves all the cool shit. And it's really true. And so I think just that assimilation to technology and understanding how to communicate that technology just leads you to social media because that's what it is now. Yeah. Right. But there are some stuff you make. I'm like, what the hell is this? Yeah. and those are the ones that get all the views. Right. so shorts is that the hot thing? Is that?
It is. Yeah. For multiple reasons. One being it's entertaining, and that's the easiest thing to get someone hooked with. Two is short, and especially my generation, our attention span is crap. Yes. So we're less likely to sit through a long form video. Right. And these shorts are usually in a feed with other shorts. So it's kind of an addicting nature to sit there and scroll. And I wish I had evidence on this, but I would say it's statistically impossible for someone to go on and just watch one short. Like, there's no way you go on and watch one 20-second video. You're scrolling no matter what.
That would be true in my case. Yeah. I mean, you just get lost in YouTube.
It's just so easy.
Yeah, I mean, I can sit down on a Saturday morning, go into YouTube or late at night or whatever, and then boom, an hour and a half is gone. Yeah. And I cannot tell you what I did or what I watched. But
So what do you scroll through? What platform?
It's YouTube, I think. I think YouTube. I use YouTube. Twitter is a because there's just some really funny stuff on Twitter, right? There's a guy I like. It's 70 Super Sports, and it is and he talks about stuff that used to be when we were kids in the 70s. And anyway, it's really, really funny, and that was what gets you hooked, and then the algorithm recommends somebody else and somebody else and somebody else, and then before you do it, you're scrolling through all this stuff. Yep. So it's an interesting news platform too, and I guess it's not called Twitter; it's called X. Yeah. And then probably YouTube and LinkedIn, of course, because that's how you keep track of the people that you used to work with, or you get to see the messages of our partners' messages, our competitors' messages, stuff like that. So that's probably the other one that I hit up.
Yeah. And I feel like another big thing with social media is that people use it nowadays for a search engine. So LinkedIn, for example, people will go on there and search, for example, technology providers or technology solutions or industry-specific terms, whatever it may be, and just browse. And so the other art of it, instead of hooking people, is the keyword optimization and the SEO that goes with social. Because for Instagram, for example, people will go on there and search for places to eat, things to buy, shopping-wise, whatever it may be. And that's, I feel like, something that's forgotten with the social media aspect of things. And I don't know if that's, again, that might be a generational thing, but we, as in my generation and lower, we tend to go to social media to search for things before Google.
That's interesting. I don't think I use social media like that. I will say, though, LinkedIn, when I have a meeting with someone, inevitably I'll see that person has popped up and hit my profile.
Yeah.
Or I've hit theirs, right? And it's just kind of a way to check out the person that you're meeting with. Who's this person all about? What's their education? What have they done? Stuff like that, just to get a quick backgrounder on it. I think that's a very legit, reason for LinkedIn. And we also do I know that you have a really great podcast out there with Colleen, our recruiter, and she uses LinkedIn for a lot of her recruiting efforts.
Yeah.
And she's got a special version of LinkedIn that she uses to stalk people, I guess. And so.
Yeah. That's why employee advocacy is so huge too, is because people are looking at your personal profiles and getting a sense of who you are before maybe they reach out to you. And
that's very true.
And that's something we push here. Still a work in progress, but getting people to understand the importance of not just company pages, but also personal profiles on every platform is huge as well.
Having a picture that is you in
Up
the last decade, maybe. Even. Yeah.
Yep.
So how do you, from a business perspective, and you and I talk about this from time to time, from a business perspective, how do you measure effectiveness?
Yeah, so this again goes back to what our goal is. So I would say 80% of social media is for awareness, maybe a little less, 70 to 80%. So if we're doing something that's primarily for that reason, we're looking at reach and impressions. If we're getting it out there to an X amount of people, then I consider that successful. If we are looking more for engagement, so people that have already saw our brand previously, whether that was through a webinar or on social media, then we want engagement. We want them to take that next step. And that's going to be anything from liking the post to sharing it, commenting, following us, whatever that may be. And then down the road, then we're looking at what I said earlier is conversions. We want people to actually take action, whether that be go to our website and land on our page and actually spend time on there, to watching a longer form video. Because people in the awareness stage, you can't expect them to do something for you. You can't expect them to go the extra mile and click a link and go outside of LinkedIn, because they're on LinkedIn to browse. They're not on LinkedIn to learn about you until they've had those touch points prior, and then they get curious.
They're like, oh, I know these people, or I keep seeing them, or they put out really funny, educated shorts or videos or whatever. Right.
Yeah, so it's a lot of different metrics.
So we have traditional marketing. We do traditional marketing here, right? That's Sue's job. And then, because you can have traditional marketing, I don't think you can have social media marketing without traditional marketing.
No, and the way that social media and our other marketing work together is social media is hitting people before they even know that it's hitting them. And what I mean by that is we want people to see our brand and recognize it, and then down the road, once they see it, once they're ready to maybe talk to someone on our team or just look for resources or just find out more information on our industry, then when they see our name, they say, oh, I've seen them before. And they might not know from where or why, but they have that familiarity with us that we're ahead of anyone else that pops up on Google or whatever they're searching.
So how much coordination are you having between our traditional marketing efforts and social media?
I mean, in terms of like me talking to Sue, I mean, everything's aligned. Like, we want to make sure that everything that goes on social has like a deeper piece of content on our website, because we have to remember that people consume information different ways. So social media allows us to take complex topics and kind of pull them apart for more digestible pieces. And then once they're ready to dive more into like the nitty gritty of everything, then we have that readily available on our website. So it's kind of, we're taking them along this journey and they might not even know it.
How do you get into social media as a profession? I think that, the high school guidance counselor, you say, I don't know what I want to do. And they say, well, what do you like to do? And they say, well, I I make YouTube videos, or
Yeah.
I like to, go to Instagram or whatever, right? And they go, oh, well, then you should go into social media. I mean, how do you get into social? How does this become your profession?
Yeah, I mean, I can't even speak to that because throughout my education, that wasn't even an option. Like, it was out there, but no one was teaching that. Like, there was no courses specific to social media when I was in school. I would say
For the record, that was like 3 years ago.
Right. I do want to say, too, they touched on social media in certain courses, but there wasn't, like, one course or a specific path you could take for social media, from what I remember 3 years ago. It's interesting because I think a lot of the comfortability that like I had with social is because I grew up with it. But I grew up with it starting at a high school age versus younger sister started in middle school versus the kids now are what we call iPad kids. And they are honestly getting into it like out of the womb. So it's going to become more and more relevant in people's personal lives, which in turn will make it more relevant into the business world. Because that's where people are spending their time. Why wouldn't you want to take advantage of that?
Well, you can. I mean, I suppose you can make a living as a Kardashian, right? But
Yeah.
but there's not a lot of job openings
Right.
on influencer or whatever.
Right.
So and I think as a business, I think you have to have a social media presence now. I think it's super critical.
I do too. And a social media presence means more than just having a profile and posting links,
Yep.
which isn't a bad tactic, but in terms of everything else that's on that platform, you're going to get lost. And that's why fresh content that seamlessly fits into that specific platform, which right now a lot of it is the short form videos, like that's what's going to stand out and catch people's attention.
Because people have the attention span of gnats.
Right.
As one of the challenges I think with social media is that it's open and everybody gets a say, right? I mean, if you go on to X and you read some of these posts and then you start running into the comments and then it could get kind of nasty. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, so for us, we haven't had to deal with that quite yet. I did get one comment on one of our YouTube shorts that just said market better. And then I went into his profile and he had 2 followers and like 5 videos with 1 view each. And I was like, okay. Thanks for the feedback. Noted. But in a general sense, if you have a piece of content and it accumulates over 200 comments and a few of those end up bringing in some negativity, whatever you do, do not delete the comment. My rule of thumb is to always acknowledge it publicly and acknowledge it to be taken offline to address it further. It's not everyone's business what's going on, but having a simple comment like, hey, I hear ya, we are sorry you had this experience, please reach out to our team, my team, this number, whatever, and we'll connect and make it better for you. If you delete a comment or flat out just ignore it, someone will see that, and that almost speaks louder than the comment itself. And if you acknowledge it, people will also notice it and see how you handled that situation. And people can see that you're taking this as an opportunity to build that relationship and fix the problem and not just pushing it away because it's just user 1258 or whatever.
I think you're right about that. When I go through and I'm looking at comments, I'm looking to buy a product or something or download an app, and you're looking at the rankings, and somebody gives it a poor vote. When the publisher or the supplier of that product or service or whatever jumps on and says, I'm really sorry you had that experience, please email me your contact information and we'll make it right, and here's our contact information.
Right. And then a lot of times when you do that, a lot of times people will go back in and do an update on that comment and say, hey, they reached out to me, we got it resolved, now I recommend. And that actually goes a lot farther than someone recommending you off the bat, because it shows, hey, I had a negative experience, and now I'm walking away happier than previously.
Well, we say that all the time. It's not the fact that you made the mistake, it's what you do to rectify it.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you're going to make mistakes, and
happen.
might as well make it public and show that. Now, I'm not saying if you make a mistake, it's not public. Don't be like, hey, look at what happened. But it's an opportunity for sure. And customer service is a huge part of any business, so.
Are you ever afraid that you're going to offend somebody? Because people are super offendable these days.
Yeah, that's always in the back of my head. I feel like I have good judgment, and I would not post something that was too controversial or anything like that. But at the end of the day, you're not going to make everyone happy, and I think you just got to think about, is this going to be more useful to the 95% of the people than it is going to hurt that other 5%? And you kind of just have to balance
Well, if you're going to be
out.
funny, somebody's not going to find it funny.
Right. Well, and most of the time, those people are these internet trolls, which is like that user 1589 that commented "market better." Like that's all they do.
We're gonna go find that guy and egg his house.
Yeah.
So, as a social media professional, what misconceptions do people have about what you do, how you do it?
One, I think that being in the B2B space, people think it is less creative. You have more guidelines to follow. And although that's true, you also have the opportunity to have a lot of creativity and let personality shine through your work. On the other end of it, I don't think people realize how much work goes into social media management. I think they just see what is being posted on a company's page and kind of just take that as, okay, that's one post. That was easy.
So, that's a good point. And there is a lot of discipline that you bring a lot of discipline to what you do. Mm-hmm. And it's not like you're just out there willy-nilly. I mean, there's thought and content and creation, and it's like any other profession. Mm-hmm. You're just not making it up as you go.
Right. And and I think that's a whole other thing, is people just think it's just the act of posting, but it's everything behind that too. It's scheduling stuff out, it's looking at the analytics and making changes, it's the content creation itself, and it's trying new things, like seeking out opportunities and trends that are new that you're like, oh, should I try this? Weighing the benefits and the cons, and then pursuing that and seeing what happens. And sometimes, it's a flop, and you know that, and you don't do it in the future. Sometimes you do it, and you're like, oh, I should start incorporating this type of content more.
Well, and the nice thing about social media is you can experiment, mm-hmm. and it's not like there's a huge expense behind it.
Right.
And it's not like you're, okay, well, I just ran this ad in a newspaper and it cost me this much money and it flopped. You can stick it out there.
That's my favorite thing about social media, is that you can do more than a paid ad without spending money if your content's good.
Yeah. In fact, we do no paid.
Yeah.
And I think we get a fair amount of engagement, really.
We do. Yeah.
How do you stay up on like what's new, the new platform du jour? How do you do that?
So a lot of it is I scroll through my personal accounts and I see what's happening and what I think I could make work in a business setting. There's a bunch of newsletters out there that I subscribe to, and they kind of go through the trends that are happening. And then this agency, actually, they do monthly webinars that they call jam sessions. And every month they pick a topic and they go through it and they talk about trends that are emerging, trends that they think will come in the future. And it's just this discussion with other social media well, actually it's all B2B marketers, but everyone just talks, and it's very insightful. They provide a lot of free resources and stuff that I'm able to utilize, but it's just doing your research and subscribing to things through LinkedIn and everything, and getting them in your inbox and paying attention to it.
Just like any other business discipline, that's how I keep up to speed with the stuff at 2W.
Right.
Just paying attention and reading and mm-hmm. Listening to different ideas and whatever.
Yep.
So you've done, I don't know how much content you've created since you've been here, but it is a lot.
Yes.
What's your favorite
type of content?
No, what's your favorite thing that you've created? Or is it like your children, where you're like, you love them all?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I don't know. It's hard. I would say, the most fun for me to do is the little videos, of course. So one of the ones that performed well and was kind of funny to do was the third floor, walking up the stairs.
Yeah, right. That was good.
So on YouTube, it's me walking up. We just moved to the third floor. So making a drama scene where we moved from the second floor to the third floor, and I'm walking up 3 flights of stairs, and I am winded at the top, and I'm like chugging water. That video did great, and it was funny to film. So
the other one was the one you did with Danny at the stand-up desk.
Yes,
that was good
that
too.
one was good. Yeah.
Yeah. If you haven't seen that, you need to go find that on YouTube. That's a short.
Yep.
But my newest favorite, absolute favorite, is where you get Resolve IQ, our AI application, to sing along with you.
Yes.
That was awesome.
I know, and I didn't even have to. I just tried it. Like I just started recording and tried it on there, and
it started.
It started. Yeah, it doesn't actually sing with voice, but it like texted back the
next line of the song.
It was really cool.
Yeah, you have to go. Everybody out there in internet land, you have to go see that. That particular one.
It's You Got a Friend in Me, Toy Story. So.
Yeah, no, it's that's a fun one. So tell me the truth: are your parents completely shocked that you make a living at social media?
My mom less so, because again, she is on social media a lot, so I think she understands being on the user side, like why there's a place for businesses on there. But my father, no, he does not use social media at all, and he's always been someone that's like, why waste your time on social media? So when I told him I got this job, I definitely led with communications. I was like, oh yeah, I got a job in communications and social media. And but yeah, his face was pretty funny. He wasn't as shocked because I think he has seen it happening and saw the evolution of it, but yeah, he's surprised that it's like a full-time gig for sure.
Well, he should be really proud because you do a great job.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, well, in the essence of time, that's what we've got. Thanks everybody for tuning in.